Real Estate Dreamcatcher. It's about a few days to a week prior to you closing, and you just want to know what to expect on closing day. Well, I just wanted to give some information to all of my buyers and sellers. If you're one of my sellers, you can expect a few things. You're going to just be preparing to get your home ready to hand over keys, whether that means cleaning out the property, changing your utilities for an effective cutoff date for your gas, for your electric, and then title will typically handle the water. Outside of that, we're going to arrange with you a date time as to where you're going to be signing documents, and sometimes this can actually happen electronically. Outside of that, if you are receiving any funds, the title company will make sure to ask you where you want to receive those funds. If you want to give them wiring information or your account information, then those funds will be coming your way. Not too much for you to do, but you will be signing some paperwork and handing over those keys. Now, as far as my buyers are concerned, for you, you are going to be provided with a closing disclosure at least 3 days prior to closing. And this closing disclosure, you will notice, is not always final at this point. The lending company and title will have to do some balancing. They will have to do some back and forth before this is actually final. But rest assured, if the lender tells you to sign it anyways, this is normal. It happens all the time. They just have to actually get some information to you in writing and have proof that they gave it to you 3 days in advance so that we can continue to move forward with closing. Now, in the meantime, your file may still be with the underwriter. The underwriter is on the lending side, and the underwriter may still be looking over the actual submitted documents, and they are going to be the ones who's going to give the final green light in granting the loan. And there are times where the underwriter may come back and say, hey, we need you to do some last minute task. It may be required of you as the buyer or me as your agent, but again, don't fret. This is also normal and it happens. It's nothing you did. Outside of that, you can expect for the title company to arrange with you the wiring instructions. Typically, that's going to be given to you sometimes up to the day before. The wiring instructions are if you are going to have to pay any monies for your closing cost. And typically, if your closing cost or amount that you're coming to the table with is less than $5,000, then you will be able to provide a cashier's check instead of a wire. So it makes it a little easier at times. As far as preparation, typically I like to wait till we get the green light or clear to close, and then I'll advise you on changing over your utilities so that you can transfer the gas, electric, and your cable over into your name into the property. Sometimes I like to wait for this clear to close because we have had unexpected delays and some people just don't want to have those utilities started prematurely. But again, you can just start it if you're comfortable with that. It's really up to you. It's about a week prior. Then by all means, some people do like to change over those utilities in anticipation of closing, and that's okay. You're always going to want to expect prior to closing for me to arrange with you a location and time, but I typically like to wait until we get that final clear to close to give you those details. And we sometimes close on location, sometimes we close at the title company, sometimes we close remotely. It really varies, but a lot of times you can expect also the day of to actually do a walkthrough of your property. So if we have an afternoon closing, in the morning we're probably going to walk through the property, make sure everything's good to go, make sure it's what you expected, and that there's nothing crazy wrong with the property so that you can go into closing with a clear mind. And then we're going to also take a picture of that water meter so that title company can change it over for you. Outside of that, you're going to just be prepared to sign a lot of documents. It's probably going to be a thick pile of paper, and some of them you're going to have already seen before, but now you're going to have to actually put paper to pen and give those wet signatures to the lender, put it on your deed, and receive keys. Outside of that, it's pretty much that's it. And we're just going to be waiting again for that green light, that final green light, and then we can get the ball rolling, things can be set. And again, I will tell you, sometimes it can be to the last day or to the actual day of closing before we get the green light. It happens, unfortunately. Don't stress, don't fret. You're not alone in this. But if you have any questions, and hopefully this helps to prepare your mind as to what to expect, sit down at the table and collect those keys.